Hello everyone. So this video is going to be in relation to that link that I posted on the community page where you can type in your county or whatever and find out exactly what your police officers have been accused of, charged, prosecuted. Like on some of them it goes in pretty deep details, even the victims and stuff that was involved with it. This is some statistics and stuff that are basically talking about police brutality and the racial bias and stuff. But there's a lot of good information in this. The killings of Michael Brown, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor, among many other unarmed black men and women, have placed police violence at the center of the national conversation. This heightened awareness of wrongful police killings of civilians also exposed a disturbing deficit in the federal government's collection of policing data. Media groups like The Guardian and The Washington Post, as well as a few others, rushed to fill this data void by creating independent databases from local news reports and online sources. The researchers found that the federal government counted less than half of all officer-involved shooting deaths. Then, the FBI Director James Comey admitted that the Bureau's shortcomings were ridiculous and embarrassing. Despite the increased data visibility into the problem in recent years, police killings of civilians continue to occur at an astonishing rate. According to the Washington Post tracking database, at least 1,096 people were shot and killed by the police in 2022. According to Mapping Police Violence, a leading police violence research project, police killed a minimum of 1,200 people in 2022. That includes victims shot by police or another cause of death, such as tasers, physical restraints, or police vehicles. The Mapping Police Violence Analysis, which pulls data from the long-standing Fatal Encounters database, also noted a disturbing observation. In 2022, there were only 10 days when the police did not kill somebody in the United States. 10 days. Every other day of the year, somebody was killed by a police officer. While smartphones and social media has made the problem of police violence more visible, about 1,000 people in the U.S. population are killed by police every year. This number has been constant since Mapping Police Violence started tracking data in 2013 and 2016. Police killings are not increasing, but they are not decreasing either, which is part of the continuing crisis of the policing in America. According to Mapping Police Violence from 2013 through June 2023, the U.S. police departments with the highest rates of people killed by police were: number one, St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department with 15.2 deaths per 1 million. Number two, Tulsa Police Department at 9.3 deaths per 1 million. And number three, Albuquerque Police Department at 9.1 deaths per 1 million. The Chicago Police Department deserves special mention. The overall annual rate of people killed by police in Chicago is below average at 3.3 deaths per 1 million. But taking a closer look at the numbers, CPD kills black people at an annual rate of 8.6 per 1 million and white people at 0.3 per 1 million. The Chicago Police Department, on average, kills about 26 times more black people than they do white people. The departments with the lowest rates are, number 1, Chesapeake Police Department with 0.8 deaths per 1 million, followed by Arlington Police Department with 0.8 deaths per 1 million. And then number 3 on that list is Buffalo Police Department with 1.0 deaths per 1 million. The key takeaway is that the rates of fatal shootings by police vary considerably across police departments, with some being more than 10 times as likely to kill civilians as others. American police kill civilians at higher rates than police in other high-income democracies, according to the Prison Policy Initiative, a criminal justice think tank. In 2019, the U.S. police killed 3.35 per 1 million people. The Canadian police, the next highest on the list, killed 0.98 for every 1 million. Police in England and Wales rarely killed civilians at a rate of 0.05 per 1 million. Police in the U.S. kill people at a rate of at least 3 times higher than Canadian police, and at least 60 times higher rate than the police in England and Wales. According to an analysis by The Guardian, U.S. police killed more people in the first 24 days of 2015 than cops in England and Wales did throughout the previous 24 years. Data shows that police brutality is a problem that affects people across demographic groups. The Washington Post database breaks down the racial disparities for people in the U.S. killed by police shootings since January 1st, 2015. Police killed white people at a rate of 2.3 per million per year. Police killed Hispanic people at a rate of 2.5 per million per year. Police killed black people at the rate of 5.8 per million per year. In a 2022 police violence report, black Americans were not only more likely to be killed by the police than other races, they were also more likely to be unarmed and less likely to be threatening someone when killed. According to the Mapping Police Violence, from 2013 to 2023, the St. Louis Metropolitan PD killed 48 people, including 41 black people. This equates to an average annual rate of killing of black people by police of 30.4 per 1 million. Oklahoma Police Department officers killed black people at 10.3 times the rate of white people. Come on, Oklahoma, we can do a hell of a lot better than that. We need to start treating our people with respect. According to Washington Post, among the 8,613 people shot and killed by the police, 8,191, or over 95%, are male. More than half of the victims are between 20 and 40 years old. According to 2022 Police Violence Report, police killed 111 people after receiving reports of someone behaving erratically or having a mental health crisis. So what happens to the police after they kill someone? Philip Stinson, a criminal justice expert at Bowling Green State University, maintains the most comprehensive database of officers charged with crimes. The link to that is on the community tab. That's what I was referencing at first of this video. When police kill someone, how likely are they to be prosecuted and convicted of murder? According to Professor Philip Stinson, U.S. prosecutors in 2021 charged only 21 officers with either murder or manslaughter, resulting from deadly force. 21 may not seem like many, but that's a record high of officers charged. 16 in 2020, 12 in 2019, 10 in 2018, and 7 in 2017. When police officers kill someone, how likely are they to be charged with the crime? Based on census data, only a tiny minority, less than 2%, of officers who killed civilians in the line of duty were charged. The vast majority of officers, 98.2%, were not charged with any crime. When police kill are charged with murder or manslaughter, how likely are they to be convicted? The April 2021 murder and manslaughter conviction of Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer who killed George Floyd, was an extraordinary event. It's very rare for DAs to charge officers who kill. Of the 155 officers prosecuted for murder and manslaughter since 2005, only about one-third resulted in a criminal conviction. One-third were acquitted in court, and another one-third of the cases are still pending. And if you go and you look on that link on the community page, and you pretty much just look up anywhere, you will see that a lot of them do have dismissed by DA or prosecution dismissal. There's a lot of them that they don't even see the light of court because the DA just dismisses the case. And if it does, you can see a lot of it to where it'll say that they were like suspended while they were waiting for trial, but then the judge dismissed the case and then they were like put back into the line of work like nothing ever happened. Okay, so various factors contribute to police violence in America. While high rates of gun ownership among Americans likely contribute to higher rates of fatal shootings by police, rates of violent crimes in cities did not determine rates of killing by police. No, I'm not anti-gun. That's not where this is going. For example, the Buffalo and Newark Police Department had relatively low rates of fatal police violence, despite high crime rates. On the other hand, Spokane and Orlando had relatively low crime rates with higher rates of deadly police violence. There is also a long history of police violence in the U.S. White men initially created police departments to control enslaved people and Native Americans, and violence has been a part of the American police force since their inception. Another challenging characteristic of American policing is the decentralizing of agencies. According to the 2016 DOJ survey, at least 12,200 local law enforcement agencies and 3,000 sheriff offices operate independently with minimal oversight. About 90% of those agencies employ fewer than 50 officers. Nearly 50% of local departments have fewer than 10 officers. That fragmentation makes it nearly impossible to mandate constant standards in police training, data collection, use of force policies, and accountability for officers who repeatedly use excessive force. As a result, police officers in the U.S. are often poorly trained to practice de-escalation in stressful situations. When agencies fail to collect or release public records of excessive force and fatal police shootings, that contributes to the culture of unseen and unchecked officer misconduct and a vicious cycle of community despair. These numbers suggest that policing in the U.S. requires fundamental transformation. The frequency of police killings and the racial disparities pervading those police brutality statistics is a public health crisis that needs urgent action. Civil rights organizations have long called for police accountability in the U.S., and the brutal killing of George Floyd accelerated a cultural and political revolution against unjust police violence, targeting African Americans and other people of color. So, to help reduce the fatal police encounters and increase public safety, Congress and all 50 states should pass police reform bills to provide the following interventions. 1. Improve use of force standards, including rules mandating when law enforcement officers can and cannot use deadly force. 2. Collect and publish detailed data on officer arrests, use of force, injuries, and deaths, and racial bias data during police stops. Number 3. Ensure independent and transparent investigations into all cases of excessive force and severe misconduct to ensure that officers are held accountable for their actions. 4. License and track wandering officers to prevent agencies from hiring officers dismissed for misconduct by other agencies. And 5. Abolish qualified immunity, which often shields officers from liability for many constitutional violations, including fatal use of force. The vast majority of the law enforcement officers in this country perform their very difficult jobs with respect for their communities and in compliance with the law. I've seen officers go way above and beyond just because they wanted to, not because cameras were rolling and the news stations doing a nearby story, not because they were seeking a promotion or for a pay raise. The officers that commit crimes, turn to excessive force, racially profile people, etc., do give a bad image for all police officers. The bad ones need to be held accountable. The truly decent officers who have a high moral ground and love for their communities can do a great thing by holding those around them accountable for their actions. DAs can prosecute, juries can convict, and judges can hand down swift punishments that makes the crooked cops think twice before committing crimes. We need to come together as a nation and hold the police accountable for their choices and actions. But as small communities, we also need to let the good cops know that we see them, that we respect them, and that we appreciate them for a job well done. Have a good day, everybody.